Good morning, everybody. Today we will discuss X-ray crystallography. First, let me tell you what is the X-ray crystallography. It is an important technique in life sciences. It is used to determine the three-dimensional structures of many biological samples. Okay, our our biological sample may be either DNA, RNA, or protein. First, I am going to tell you main steps of X-ray crystallography. Okay. Suppose if you have any biological sample, either DNA, RNA, or protein, and you want to know the three-dimensional structure of these biological molecules, then first of all you have to convert your biological molecule into solid crystal form. Okay. Thereafter, we will focus the X-ray beam on the surface of crystal. Then diffraction of X-ray beam will take place. That diffraction pattern of X-ray beam will inform us about the three-dimensional structure of our biological samples. Okay. Again, I am repeating the main steps of X-ray crystallography. First, take your sample, convert it into a solid crystal form. Thereafter, focus the X-ray beam on the surface of the crystal. Then, diffraction of X-ray beam will take place. That diffraction pattern of X-ray beam will inform us about the three-dimensional structure of our biological samples. So let's discuss all steps one by one. To do the X-ray crystallography, first of all we take synchrotron. Synchrotron is the source of X-ray. Okay, it emits a lot of X-ray beam. So here I am drawing the peak of synchrotron. Okay, it is the synchrotron. Synchrotron. Thereafter, we take lead screen. This is the lead screen. Then we take crystal. I told you if you want to do X-ray crystallography, then first of all you have to convert your sample into solid crystal form. Okay. So first convert your sample into a solid crystal form, and that crystal structure will be taken here. So I am taking the crystal form of our sample. Yeah, this is the crystal structure of the sample, and this crystal is kept on goniometer. This is the goniometer. Crystal is kept on goniometer. Okay. Goniometer, okay. It is a lead screen. Okay. And unique property of goniometer is it rotates on its axis. Okay. Goniometer rotates on its axis. Okay. Thereafter, we take X-ray film. Now I am taking here X-ray film. This is the X-ray film. Okay, and let's discuss one by one what happens here. Okay, sorry, let's discuss one by one what happens here. Synchrotron. I told you synchrotron is the source of X-ray. Therefore, a lot of X-ray beam will come out from the synchrotron. A lot of X-ray beam are coming out from the synchrotron and falling on the laser screen. A lot of X-ray beam are coming out from the synchrotron and falling on the X-ray beam. And falling on the laser screen. Okay. But laser screen will allow to pass single beam of X-ray. Okay. See, a lot of X-ray beam are coming out from the synchrotron and falling on laser screen, but laser screen will allow to pass only single beam of the X-ray. Okay. Then I am going to tell you what's the reason that we have used laser screen here. Actually, to do the X-ray crystallography, we need monochromatic beam. We don't need polychromatic beam. We need monochromatic beam. So to select the monochromatic beam of the X-ray, we have used laser screen here. Okay. Now next step. I told you when X-ray beam will fall on the surface of crystal, the diffraction of X-ray beam will take place. Okay. And here goniometer is rotating. Then due to rotation of goniometer, crystal will also rotate. Okay. Therefore, X-ray beam will fall on the each part of the crystal. Have got it? Okay. So next step, the diffracted X-ray beam will fall on the X-ray film. This X-ray film. Okay. Here X-ray beam is coming out. Here X-ray beam is coming and falling on the crystal, and on the surface of crystal, the diffraction of X-ray beam will take place. So, diffraction of X-ray beam will take place. I am showing the diffraction of X-ray beam, and diffracted X-ray beam are falling on the X-ray film. Okay. Okay. Diffracted X-ray beam falling on the X-ray beam falling on the crystal, and after diffraction, diffracted X-ray beam are falling on the X-ray film. Okay. So it's clear. And now, when diffracted X-ray beam will fall on the X-ray film, then two types of spots are generated on the X-ray film. First would be light and a small spot. Light and a small spots. Second would be large and dark spots. Large and dark spots. Okay. So, what is the meaning of a small and light spot and large and dark spot? Here, students, if you think about crystal, then atoms are found inside the crystal and electrons are found on the surface of the atoms. Okay. Therefore, when X-ray beam will fall on the crystal, then X-ray beam will interact with all electrons which are found on the surface of the atoms. Okay. Therefore, we say that we consider these sports are indicating the density of electrons. Okay. A sports will indicate the low density of electrons. A small sport is equal to low density of electron, and dark and large spot is equal to high density of electron. Okay. Thereafter, we will go to the next step. Next step is the Fourier transformation method. You are going to the next step. Next step is the Fourier transformation. Fourier transformation. Fourier transformation. Okay. First, let me tell you what is the Fourier transformation. Okay. Actually, it is a type of bioinformatics tool. Okay. It is the instrument of dry lab. Fourier transformation technique is not the instrument of wet lab. It is the instrument of dry lab. Okay. It creates electron density map using different angle of diffraction and size of light and dark spots. Again, I am repeating. Fourier transformations technique creates electron density map using different angles of diffraction and position of light and dark spots. Okay. So here, the electron density map will be created. Electron density map. Okay. And if you think about the structure of electron density map, then electron density map is, if you think electron density map look like this. Okay. Electron density map. It is a structure of electron density map. Okay. And what is the meaning of electron density map here? Electron density map indicates the number and position of electron on the surface of the atoms. Okay. Therefore, if you put this, we have got the data, which data is indicating us what is the number of electrons and position of electrons on the surface of atoms. Okay. Therefore, if you put atoms inside the electron density map according to the number and position of electrons, then you will get three-dimensional structure of our biological sample. Okay. So in next step, will put the atoms into helium. Helium is the electron density map. I am writing the short form of electron density map. Thereafter, we will get 3D, three-dimensional structure of the symbol. Okay, so it's all about the X-ray crystallography. Thank you very much.